Hello viewers, welcome to Silent Conversations with Miss Nkatha. I am your host, Miss Nkatha Mwenda, a nutritionist, founder, Sober Living Youth Summit, chairperson, Graceful Youth Recovery Center. And today I'm reminded of how Sober Living Youth Summit was birthed. And it was birthed out of a place of prayer. And then God led me to a land, neighboring land of Uganda, the land of M7, where I had interacted online on Twitter, now X Spaces. Now X, I interacted with some young people who run a foundation focused on mental health awareness amongst the youth. And when they invited me to attend their mental health summit, for me it was a celebration because Uganda has always been one of my favorite countries, even when I was in my career as a nutritionist traveling all over the world. So going to Uganda as the first country to share my testimony on recovery from addiction and being part of this amazing summit was truly humbling. And today, we have one of the founders of that foundation, and I'm so humbled to introduce Rhonah Ainembabaz from Tukule Foundation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Nkatha. I feel like it's been long overdue.
Long, yes.
I don't know how many times you've been telling me we should do this. So finally we're here. Like Nkatha said, my name is Rhonah Ainembabaz. I am from Uganda and I love God. That's literally my trademark. And I serve with an organization called Tukule Foundation. Please, Kenyans, friends, please. Tukule in Uganda means let's grow, not let's eat. So please do not come to me asking for food. But if you want food for the mind, we have lots and lots of that. So Tukule Foundation is a youth-led nonprofit organization that focuses on mental health awareness and mindset change. We do this through school outreaches, university summits, and community outreaches. And like Nkatha said again, actually the first ever summit that we did at Makerere University, it is where she was invited.
I said Makerere, Makerere University.
It was amazing. And I'm really excited to be having this conversation with you. For us to continue having these conversations is paramount to me because I'm personally very, very passionate when it comes to mental health. Because I feel like one thing that people usually do not realize is mental health is health, just like physical health. So the same way we have physical health, we also have mental health. So the same way you can get physically ill, you can also get mentally ill. So, and the same way you need a doctor, you will definitely also need a doctor when it comes to your mental health. You need to see a psychologist. And one of the myths and misconceptions that people usually have about mental health is if you're having a mental challenge, meaning you're weak, or you're being dramatic, or it's always something.
Snap out of it.
Snap out of it. Like you can get over it. But in actual sense, it is a medical condition. And sometimes you actually need to get medicine or get proper treatment in regards to therapy. So once again, I'm really excited to be having this conversation today.
Wow, before we go into definitions and why university outreaches, you are a mother and a wife.
Yes.
Kindly just let us know.
I am a mother to two beautiful babies, a boy and a girl. The girl is 1 year and the boy is 5. It is amazing being a mom. I don't know about people who do not like being mothers, but I personally enjoy it the most. Like you never get bored. It's a lot of work, and I am a wife, and marriage can be very temperamental, confusing, hard, challenging, but also amazing if you have the right partner. And I feel like one of the things that people usually do not understand when it comes to marriage is you're two different people who have to keep working on it every single day. And you're going to have arguments. There's going to be fights. There's a lot that is going to happen. But for as long as you know where you're going as a couple, as a family, I believe it makes it kind of easier. So,
let's start with the first question. So how is it working alongside your husband in this?
It is encouraging, I think, and I feel most of the times he's more or less my cheerleader. He's like that one person who always tells me, you can do this, you can do better. If I decide, because I'm the psychologist and he's actually a lived experience.
Yes.
So he has been through it. He knows what it means
Yes.
to struggle when it comes to your mental health. And I believe he's okay with me sharing this, but he's literally struggled with taking his own life at one point in life. So he had to go through therapy and everything. So he really understands how much mental health issues can actually go. So every single day we wake up, I feel like when it comes to this organization, our foundation is, we never run out of what to do because there is a lot to do. And mental health right now is a silent pandemic and there's a lot going on. And somehow people still want to sweep it under the carpet, but you cannot forego it because it's happening in our faces every single day. So it is amazing having talked with my husband.
Wow.
Overall, yeah.
As you just shared that your husband is a lived experience, and obviously he's a man. Men tend to, not all, but it's perceived that men are strong, and if they open up about the challenges they are facing, then it means they are less men. So during this Mental Health Awareness Month, it has been deliberate for us to keep talking about men and just encouraging them and also those around men to let them know they're human.
Yeah.
And the brain is an organ in a man, in a woman, and when it's not functioning at its optimum because of certain factors, then you will have challenges. And challenges are part of life. So it's important to seek help. You're not alone. It does not mean you're less of who you are as a man. And again, because of mostly how we've been socialized, it's a patriarchal kind of life all over the world. So they look, if a man is being perceived in a certain way.
I think like when it comes to, for instance, the African context, it makes it even harder for a man to actually open up. Because even when they're still little, you even crying, they'll tell you, hey, stop crying, you're a man, Like, you're not allowed, or it seems like it should not even, show your emotions in any way. But like you said, they're also human beings. They have emotions, they have feelings like any other person. And I really feel like it is very, very important for men to actually express themselves. Because, at the end of the day, as women, we can easily contemplate murder at a higher number. Suicide, not murder. Suicide.
Okay, that one is a conversation.
We can easily contemplate suicide, but it is rare for women to go ahead and actually take their lives. But men actually think about it and put it into realization and actually go ahead and do it. I remember during the COVID pandemic, there was a gentleman a few people really actually lost their lives to suicide during COVID period.
Yes.
But this one person I don't know why he keeps ringing in my head. Like with everything that was happening during the COVID time, this gentleman actually went to the bathroom. His wife was in the house, the kids were in the house. He went to the bathroom and actually killed himself.
Like a normal day?
Yeah. And this is because most of the times they don't even know how to express themselves. And even when they express themselves, even us women, we've actually not been taught how to handle when a man opens up. Because we've been told, hey, the man has to be strong, so he has to deal with everything else. So when he comes opening up, you're like, how do I deal with this? You might also tell him, hey, you're a man, you can deal with it. Get over it.
And that's why I'm so happy at what you're doing in your foundation. And the target. Because in the university, yes, there's diverse age groups, but most of them are young men and women who have just gotten out. Maybe they've just turned. They're no longer teenagers, and they're living this life independently. And that is a time when they're pursuing their careers, education. And it plays a huge role because they'll go through this education or the academics because of that promise of a great future. And many lives have been shaped in campus. There are those that were negative and those positive. I look at my situation. For me, I picked drinking or that the drink or the use was more elaborate in university because there was freedom, not knowing it will interfere with my future and my life. But in the same university, there are those who get mentored. There are those who will pick one or two very positive that hold them on for life, even for future. So I want to understand why university ministry? Why the youth?
So I think we focused more on the young people because whether we like it or not, this is the generation. And I think one of the reasons that why I usually get more angry and more persuasive to do this is this new narrative of people always saying this generation is spoiled, this generation is lost, this generation is... Someone actually recently said this generation is rotten. It's like, whoa, that is such a harsh word to use. Because we forget that our words have power.
Yes.
And you're saying these words on your children, your sisters, your brothers, your nieces, your nephews, but you're just saying it, thinking you're saying it out there, but you're impacting these young ones.
Yes.
So I feel, to me, it is very important for us to remind these young ones that it is okay for you not to be okay. There is support out there. If you need someone to talk to, there is someone you can talk to. If you're struggling with something, because like you said, you adopted drinking at the university, and that is because of the circles that are there. This is the first time you're getting freedom. Like, you don't have to be home. You know, this is the time you're out in the world, and you don't know which side to take. So if you're not careful, you'll be swayed in the wrong direction. So it's always very important for us to remember, and mostly as parents, to remember that there is a lot of information out there. What do you want your child to take in? It is your responsibility as a parent. So it is important to me, first of all, as a mother, and also as a psychologist and a mental health advocate, for me to put it out to the young people that, yes, right now everything is hostile. Not only the environment and the economy, but even the people that are supposed to support us and help us be better. So I feel like they need that support, that encouragement. Be like, hey, there is someone who can still hold your hand, who can still move with you, and to make sure that you're better. Yeah.
And when you speak like that, it's like flashes that have just passed through my mind, and I'm remembering also campuses where there's different people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, even race. And because we all come from different backgrounds and environment, and you come into this pool for education, some people will question their upbringing, question their how their parents have how they've been brought up. And so, like you're saying, if you are not grounded or you get confused in that maze, then it can be quite challenging. And that's also one of the reasons that it's important to have the education and the awareness that information can be available for these young people.
And you see, like, our focus is also not generally only on the universities, but also secondary schools.
Okay.
We had not yet gotten the right formula to use for the primary, but for the secondary school, these are also people who are growing up. They're getting into adolescence. That is the most confusing stage ever. So you're trying to nurture them from secondary, and as they get to university, at least they have an idea of how best to take care of themselves. What is the importance of self-awareness? What do you have to do? Why do you have to care about yourself? Why do you have to set boundaries? All these things need to be taught. So as we don't get in an environment where everybody, like you said, there's different cultures, there's different this, and you feel like, what must I do? Like, you get really confused on what you're supposed to do. And sometimes you might even end up in circles where you don't really feel like you fit or belong, but you're there just because you want to be part of the culture in that space, to be part of the whatever is happening in that space, for you not to feel left out, more or less. So,
wow, that we'll come back to that being left out, because being left out has caused a lot of problems. So can we go into the description? What is mental health? Someone is watching here today and they've had mental health, mental everything, what is mental health? You say you also are a psychologist. Tell us a little about that so that we can understand your role, and also when you say mental health is as important as physical health.
So mental health, generally speaking, mental health affects how we feel, how we think, and how we act. So it is a psychological thing, it is a physical thing, it is a mental thing, generally, to infuse it together.
How you act, how you think, and how you feel.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically speaking, it's not like you can wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, today I'm not going to think. I'm just tuning off my mind. You're going to think. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it is always very crucial for us to be cautious on what we let into our minds.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, what we think might actually reflect on how we act on the outside. Yeah. So it is always important to always be very cautious on what you let into your minds. That's why most psychologists will tell you always, every single morning when you wake up, learn to assure yourself, to affirm yourself. I'm good, I'm confident, I'm smart. Like things that you feel like other people are taking away from you, you need to tell them to yourself. And when it comes to mental health, it also helps you on how to cope with daily stresses. So the things that happen in our lives, how best can we deal with them? So it encompasses how we feel, how we think, and how we act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned this because it's happening in Kenya right now. There's been just too many homicides, premeditated murders, and in the home, you hear of a story of a husband has hacked the wife to death, or you hear a wife has done the same to the husband, and before that she killed the children. You know, what is going on? Because it means they probably have been thinking it and now they're acting it out. Would you call that a mental health disorder? Is it extreme? What is going on? How do you classify that?
I feel like, apart from it, yes, it could be a mental health disorder or illness, but sometimes I would advise us not to jump into conclusions of saying, hey, I have a mental health problem. Okay. It is always important for us to seek professional help first. Yeah. But then right now, I feel like there is a lot happening in the world. There is a lot of information out there that is bombarding us from all corners. The economy is in wrong, whatever. And then like with the information on the internet, you feel like there's war here, now there's floods, now there's this. Like there is a lot that is stressing everybody, and we cannot help it. And being stressed is part of life. We cannot live without being stressed. Like some stress is actually good. It helps you to, keep on your feet, to work for that thing that you want to achieve. But like if it becomes too much and you do not open up, you do not share, it's like if you keep pouring water in a balloon, what's going to happen?
It's going to burst.
Exactly. So if you keep piling things in and maybe you're abused, you keep quiet. Someone assaults you, you keep quiet. You probably raped or something, you keep quiet. Like you just keep piling everything on the inside. Of course, eventually you're going to break down. And how that happens, you don't have control over it. It will happen as it is on the inside, it will just pour out. The same way the balloon will just explode or burst is the same way you're also just going to explode. And it's one thing I always tell people, it's God forbid if right now I got into an accident and I lost my hand or my leg or something, after a year or so I'll heal and I will learn how to, maneuver around without my leg or my arm. But when you get a mental breakdown, that's a whole different story. If I had a mental breakdown, I would not be seated here with you. You would not want to have a conversation with me. So it is always very important for us to understand that here, this is the engine that drives the rest of the body. So we have to take care of it every single day. It has to be a priority.
Wow. Can we highlight, can you tell us a few mental health disorders? And then you can just share with us one or two strategies of coping with these stresses. You've said floods, you said economy, you said taxes. You've talked about just day-to-day life. Yeah. So what are these common mental health conditions that people experience?
Okay. So of course we have depression, which is common. Oh, and by the way, sometimes people keep saying, I'm depressed. They just throw out the word, but I don't think they really know what it means to actually be depressed. So we have depression. So when it comes to depression, you basically lose interest in things that you usually love. If you probably are a person who likes going out with your friends and having fun, all of a sudden you want to stay indoors, you don't want to do anything. You're withdrawn to yourself. And one thing that people should always realize when it comes to our mental health, this is why it's always important for us to be intentional when it comes to our mental health. Like take note, for instance, if you've lost appetite, why have you lost that appetite?
Yes.
And how long is it going to take? If you've gained the appetite, how long is it taking? Because when it comes to mental health, you can only be diagnosed that you have a mental health disorder if it's taken 2 weeks and more.
It's not just a feeling or an emotion.
You cannot
now.
wake up today and you're like, I'm stressed, I'm depressed, you're like, yeah, I think I'm clinically depressed. No, it doesn't work like that. So it's usually a period of time. So, like, for instance, you wake up in the morning and you don't take a shower, and maybe it's been raining. Okay, that's understandable, it's cold. But if you've taken 2 weeks, you've not showered or brushed your teeth or changed your knickers or boxers, there is a problem. So you need to check it out. And then we also talk about other things like sleeping patterns. If every night you're tossing and turning and you can hardly get any sleep, or you want to sleep every day, day in, day out, everything, you just want to keep sleeping, there is a challenge that you need to address. If you all of a sudden cannot remember things, and I'm not saying this, other people will say, no, that's old age or something, but people actually have brain block, where you actually cannot, like, I'll stand up from here and I go to pick that Bible and I'll stand and then I won't remember what I was actually going to get. And this happens for 2 weeks and more. Something is wrong. So find a solution. Yeah.
And
there are many more, but I can't discuss all of them.
Yes. No, that's the most common, right?
Yeah.
As you said. And I like the way you've quite elaborated it, because you just need to go into the social media spaces or just in interactions. Like you said, many are saying, oh, I'm depressed, oh, my life is coming to an end, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe
And
it's
there are
just
people who say such words. Like if a person wakes up in the morning and says, I think my life is coming to an end, or I feel like my life is worthless, you have to pay attention to such people, because those are indicators that someone is actually struggling. Some people say it laughing, like, hey, it's fun, but in actual sense, they're struggling with something. So it's always important for us to reach out, to provide support, to be there, because suicidal thoughts are actually very, very common, more than we like to admit, mostly in young people from 15 to 25. Yeah, suicide is actually one of the leading causes of death.
Is there a reason? You mentioned, yes, it's also the most challenging time in life. Is there a scientific reason as to why?
No, really, I cannot say suicide really has a scientific reason. But most of the things right now, I feel it's mostly, when it comes to social media, it's comparison. Kids are over-comparing themselves to what they're seeing out there. Because genetics, yes, might play a role in regards to how we deal with daily stresses, but then it might not push you to that point. Yes, it can be. If you lost someone, for instance, to suicide, you might actually lose another family member to suicide if you do not deal with it, if you do not heal from it. So it's always important, if there is a suicide in the family, it is always important for us to actually get like family therapy or something to make sure that that trauma is overcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that time flies so fast. Can we spotlight a little on stigma? Because many people don't reach out for help because of fear, stigma, shame. What can you say about that?
So stigma is actually one of the biggest challenges that we have. And I feel like people usually say mostly in Africa, and yes, mostly in Africa, but even worldwide. There is something that happens when someone comes to say, I think I have a mental challenge. Even how they look at you like, huh? Like,
I've just lost you.
or some people just assume, you can't be serious, you're joking. Like, there is a way we easily, push it on the side.
That's true.
And honestly speaking, mental health should be taken seriously, because it affects, right now it affects 1 in every 5 people.
So, like in this
You count
room,
1, 2, 3.
we are 5. Allah.
You count
Data does not lie. So,
yeah.
So, And
like what you said, stigma usually prevents one from actually seeking help. Because they're scared of how they're going to perceive them. They're scared how the family is going to treat them, or even their friends. Because if they will start looking... And there is always this belief that a person who's struggling with a mental illness is violent, but that is actually not true. Most people who have a mental problem, they actually always communicate. Like what you've said, like I'll come and tell you, I think I'm stressed, I'm going through something. But instead of giving me the support that I need, you just sweep it away. So of course you'll get angry. Like you feel like I'm speaking, but no one is listening. Even any other person will also get angry. So when they start acting out, they're like, now she's mentally ill. Now that's when they realize, okay, now this person has a mental problem. But in actual sense, they've been communicating. You just did not pay attention. Yeah.
Wow. How can we improve? You've said mental health summits. You've been doing them in universities. You're doing outreaches in secondary schools. Is enough being done? Do you have support? Is there areas of improvement? What is your observation on that?
Mental health is one of the least funded spaces. For instance, in Uganda, it only has 1% of the whole health budget. 1%.
Okay.
We have only one national mental hospital,
Yes.
that is Butabika. And right now they're overwhelmed, literally. Because they have about a number, I think, of 500 beds, and they have more than 1,000, if not 2,000 people.
Yes.
So there is no support. Even for us who are doing the awareness, who are going out there, like you find yourself having to, put in your money.
Yes.
Because you remember, like, the first university summit that we did, that we called the Mental Health University Summit, like, some people actually hesitated to come. Like, some speakers hesitated to come because they were like, how do I get associated to mental health? Will people think someone is struggling in my family or me, myself? So actually, people advised us to change it. But then we were very intentional because we knew how far this can go. We know how much impact and problems this can cause if we do not deal with it. So we're very intentional when we're like the University Mental Health Summit. So people would reach out and say, please change it. We're like, no, it's not happening. If you feel uncomfortable, feel free not to come.
It.
Yeah.
Because when they hear mental health, they hear you.
But you see now the problem is it's mental health. It's not mental illness. It's mental health.
But
it
they
is
assume
health.
it's.
Yeah, like what I said at the beginning. We all have mental health. Each one of us here has mental health. The same way you have physical health.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
But people, every time you say mental health, they first think you're mad. Something is wrong with you. But in actual, it is health. It is mental health.
I commend you. I commend what your organization is doing, and like you're saying, it's maybe a path many people don't want to walk. I believe now is much better than how it started.
A bit, yeah. But still not that much, really. Because, like, for instance, right now we are organizing a University Mental Health Conference at Desta University.
Yes.
It's going to be on the 24th of May, 2024.
Okay.
So we have a University Mental Health Conference on the 24th of May at Desta University, Valley Road. It's going to be from 8:30 to 5. There's a lot of speakers. Pastor Tim Wang is our keynote speaker, and our guest of honor is Honorable Sabina Chege. And she's also the patron of Tukule Foundation here in Nairobi, Kenya. So we're really excited. We have a lot of people, professionals in the field who are going to be joining us, who will be sharing wisdom. So kindly join us on the 24th. Come learn and relearn, because there is a lot to learn when it comes to mental health. And let's create a community where we endeavor to be mentally healthy. And there's also going to be food, not only food for the mind, but also food for your tummy. So come and join us.
Wow. I mean, that is 24th
of May.
Please, let's flock into Daystar University. I like such summits because you have a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
And what happens in summits, because of the diversity and because of the concept and even the keynote speakers, you actually look forward to hear, okay, what is this going to be spoken about? And it's in the university, young, whatever age you are, just let's convene at Daystar University. I know.
Oh, and for those of you who are passionate about mental health, kindly come and support, because we do need the support. Yeah. So if you are passionate, if you're an advocate, if you're a lived experience, if you know someone who might be struggling, because sometimes you don't just have to support with money, you can also support by praying, support by inviting someone, support by, leading, giving us a contact to help, etc., etc. So support in whatever way that you actually can.
Wow. What can we say? What can we add on to that? What I like about the summits, not even the summits, what I like about Tukule Foundation is you are relentless. You've even crossed borders. Mm-hmm. I'm asking, welcome to Kenya. I'm wondering, have you started the process of dual citizenship?
We'll come and plant the seed of the mental health. We want Kenyans to be mentally healthy.
Yeah.
We're like the pioneers in Uganda to actually bring out these whole conversations. And right now I'm really proud of how many conversations have come up in Uganda. And I always feel like I need to pat myself on the shoulder to be like, you were actually one of the first people who did this. So
And pioneers, you know what they say about pioneers? Man, we need to tap her back, because pioneers then are the ones who are building the foundation by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And for you to also come into Kenya and be at the forefront in matters of mental health awareness, then we applaud you. I can only wish you all the best, that you can be able to get more and more people on board, government, legislators, people who are policy makers,
Yeah.
so that we can have positive change, and mostly to break the stigma. There's nothing as challenging as being bound by fear and shame. It stalls someone's lives.
Yeah.
You know, it stops someone's life. You know, you get really challenged, and there's a lot of good that is coming from the activities of your organization. What is your parting shot today?
We've talked about mental health. We've talked about how to tell if you might be struggling mentally, but how can you cope? How can you deal when you're stressing or struggling? Number one is God, prayer. I believe, you know, like sometimes we don't know how to express ourselves to other people. But when you talk to God, where you feel like no, He's not going to judge you or discriminate you or stigmatize you, it's a good place to just open up, to share, like as if you're talking to another person. That's why they usually say a problem shared is half solved.
True.
So it's always important to open up. It's always important to talk about these issues. Number two is self-care. Remember that you matter too. Remember to take time off for yourself. If it's a movie that you like watching, go for a movie. If it's a walk that you need, take that walk. If you like meditating or sitting in one place, it is okay to do that. And it's also okay to take a shower. Yeah. You've taken 2 weeks and you've not taken a shower, please take a shower. It's good for your health. And brush your teeth. Like, feel fresh. It is very important. Yeah. Other than that, thank you so much for inviting me, for having me here, for having these conversations.
Yes.
And I pray and hope that these conversations keep happening as we create mental health awareness. Also, May being a mental health awareness month, I feel good that we still have these conversations and we continue to have these conversations, because we learn, we unlearn, and we relearn every day. So let's keep our minds open.
We learn, we relearn,
and unlearn.
and unlearn. Unlearn, learn, relearn. You know, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Where can people get you? Just share where they can get you on your socials, or where you would prefer. If someone is watching today and they want to come for the summit, if they're watching today and they feel they need your advice, how can they get in touch with you?
So we are on social media. We are on X Spaces. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. All of them under at Tukule Foundation. So you can reach out at any time. And then for those who might need advice, you can send an email. We have tukulefoundation20@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out anytime. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Viewers, you've had it. Wow. Thank you so much, Rhonah. That was a lot of information. And remember, counseling psychologists do charge. Thank you for not charging. Oh, we expect a bill after this. You know, we just thank her for being able to share freely, and just to commend what her and her husband Daniel are doing. And wow, what can I say? In the word of God, it says, I've not given you a spirit of fear, but of a sound mind, of power and love. That's what I keep hearing, that God has created us in such a way that we are powerful, we are made from love, and we need not fear, because He's with us. And therefore, a sound mind also comes from Him. So I want to wish you all the best. And as we celebrate this Mental Health Awareness Month, get yourself some information, get yourself into an activity or a summit like the one happening on the 24th of May at Daystar University, and be the Valley Road branch of Daystar University. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a full day event. Come, network, come learn, relearn, and learn, and we can be able to keep positive conversations, and we can be able to have transformation from these engagements. Until next time, it's your host, Nkatha Mwenda. God loves you, we love you.
God bless you.
Wow.